All right, so hello everyone and welcome to another AMA. Just like I said before, another day, another AMA. So this one is with DeFiTankLand, and this is a very special AMA, so I will get into it why this is so special. So to quickly touch upon the fact that this is our first ever Arbitrum AMA. And of course, a quick reminder that their fair launch is also taking place today at 5 p.m. UTC. So just a little bit less than 2 hours to go. So make sure to, just listen to all the information, to ask any of the questions that you still might potentially have once we're done with the presentation for a portion of the AMA. So let me just quickly touch upon the fact that I'm very excited to be hosting this. Of course, to ask all of my questions as well as just receive some more information about, the game mechanics in general. It's looking great. I'm always hyped when it comes to, gaming in general. You by now already know that. So it's going to be an awesome AMA. And with that being said, thank you very much for joining. For starters, we can, of course, jump into the game itself. You can present how the game will look like, mechanics of it, the game modes it offers, and, so on. So we'll jump into the questions after that. And once again, thank you for being here. It's a pleasure to host you, and the floor is, of course, all yours. Welcome.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for everyone who's here. My name is Nabil Amrani. I'm the CEO of DeFiTankLand. This is a really, we see it as a really groundbreaking project, and we want to, let time show all our theories. We did a lot of approaches in terms of predicting what's going to happen next, like kind of forecast and stuff. And we're really sure about its future. So we're putting it so that we can participate in it ourselves and watch it grow, because it's going to be fun to be part of it. Because at the end, it's decentralized. So we create it, but we become part of it. We become a participant in it. And we really believe in its future. So we chose Arbitrum because right now we came to the conclusion that it's the only one where we can build all the versions of DeFiTankLand. We're going to have 3 versions in total. The first one is going to be a simple one that would attract people like me, like grandmas, who play Mario Kart and stuff, like simple games. The second version will have, just more graphics and stuff. The second and the third will be more based on, graphics and the specifics of the gameplay, with some little additions in the economic model that don't change anything in the core concept of the idea, so which I'm going to get to very shortly. I just want to put it in context because at the end, this is a normal evolution in the gaming world, because we need to get to this Web3 idea. Because like just recently, when you see those fights between those big corporations of gaming and governments getting involved and all that, it shows that we're really getting it wrong in the gaming space, where we're thinking that we can have the huge potential that gaming can have while still relying on banks and centralized servers, which it won't work. At some point it's going to end, but nobody did the next move because the market has been crashing for the last 2 years or something, and whenever there isn't enough money in the crypto market, there isn't enough innovation because of game theory, because of incentives. And this brings me to the point that incentives and game theory is the basis of DeFiTankLand. Everything happening in DFTL is just studying the situations based on their incentive and trying to make sure, not trying, literally making sure that the incentives are always there to cause a certain effect. So just to explain game theory very quickly, the easiest way would be always to use prisoner's dilemma for people who are familiar with this. But the idea is that when you know what part A will do and part B will do, you can easily predict the conclusion. That's why a lot of smart people knew that World War I would happen simply when they saw that guy getting killed in Serbia or whatever. And, it went like that. So because we know that at this point, this country is going to have this preemptive move against this other one, and this other one is going to have this, this incentive to defend or whatever, or have a +1 in that fight. So at the end, people act based on those incentives, and we can predict what they're going to do next. So in the old paradigm, when we didn't have decentralization, we had a bunch of people in this world, those who love centralization, and they basically want to stay there. And in order for them to stay there, we can't have the whole potential that we deserve. And I'm talking specifically about the economic side, because games, basically, the economic elite told us to just take our freedom when it comes to developing games and all that, but then we should just hand it to them because the economic model will always remain the same. And with this DeFi revolution 2 years ago or so, now we're moving to this idea that we can create new things that never existed before on top of the blockchain, and this is one of them. So the game for DeFiTankLand is a very simple concept. It goes around a tank. So tanks are the NFT of the game, and they have specifics and characteristics that change based on the next things that I'm gonna say. So this tank, we have two people that we're gonna, two kinds of people that the game will interact with: the investors and the players. So for the investors, naturally, the name investor means that he has some money, but for the player, not always. Some players have money, some players don't have money. DeFiTankLand is for everybody, even if you have nothing, even if you have the money to pay the fees, it doesn't matter. You can just come in and lend and borrow basically a tank from somebody else. And I'm going to go into the details of this a little bit later, and why you're always going to have that tank that you need, because it's a game theory situation. So once you go there, if you don't have money, you take the tank, you can play with it. If you play with it, you're going to level it up. You're going to increase its stats. So every tank has an initial stat, and people can mint it using DFTL, which is the native token of this ecosystem. And once they do that, the stats are there. So playing with like being skillful and increasing in the growth of the tank inside the game. I'm going to get into the specific game modes in a little while, but just generally, like, you just play to make money and increase the capacity of the tank, because the tank itself is an NFT, and as an NFT that makes money. So basically, the more you increase its capacity, the more money it's going to make. So basically, this is the contribution that you do. You increase the level of that tank, and you make money for it. So there is a reward, a daily reward that just keeps going, and there is a main daily reward, and then there is an extra daily reward that comes every day from the newly minted NFT. So at each NFT gets minted, a big portion goes to that, and I'm gonna go.
So if you don't mind, sorry for kind of cutting you off there.
Yeah.
If I may, since we are already talking about the whole upgrade system for the tanks in general, right? So I actually was wondering, since you brushed upon the fact that you are able to upgrade them, or let's say level them with the token, right? So I was wondering if by chance you have a mechanic set in place of, let's say, the tanks leveling up simply by let's say grinding a specific game mode, or are you only able to level them up by let's say investing with your token in order to gain levels on the tanks?
Exactly, not the latter, the former. You level up. You play. So by playing, the only way to level up is by playing. Investors don't increase they don't increase the level, but basically the stats. So the tank has certain capacities, and the more you play with it, you increase those capacities. But the investors can invest in staking pool of that tank. Every tank is a staking pool in itself, and once they do that, they can increase the energy parts. They can increase the energy capacity. So basically, each tank has a capacity, and once it ends, he needs to wait for it. There is a time period. Like each day, basically you can die like 10 times, stuff like that. It starts like that.
This is actually what I was also wondering about, since the games that are, let's say, of similar concept, because again, I just like to quickly touch upon the fact that it's nice that you developed a game that is essentially familiar to users as well as gamers in general, right? So they're gonna fit right in at the end of the day, which is perfect. And again, yeah, perfect. And again, the energy system in general, this is exactly what I was wondering, since, similar games have kind of a ticketing system. Any sort of system to kind of keep you from not over grinding, let's say. So this would be the energy system for specific NFTs, so for the tanks in your case. So since we are already talking about this, if, let's say, for example, I own a tank and my energy is, let's say, so low that I cannot grind out a specific game mode anymore, do I need to simply wait, or are there any other options for me to, let's say, increase or refill the energy faster, for example?
Can you repeat just this last part because I want to see the core of the question. Can you repeat it?
Yeah, for sure. It's no problem at all. So regarding the energy, if I am without energy on a specific tank, if there are any options for me to quickly refill it, or do I need to simply wait?
You are limited. Basically, there is an option, but it's limited. The option would be like you act like any other investor and you put money in that tank. You invest in that tank to get the APY, because I'm going to just get to that a little bit shortly. You have an incentive to invest in that tank. But anyways, once you do that, you can increase it, but there is a limit. So the leveling up is what pushes the staking pool capacity, and then from the staking pool capacity, the investors increase the energy. So playing increases the capacity, and then now we can have more investors in that tank, which means we can increase its energy pool capacity plus recovery speed faster.
Perfect. All right. Yeah, that's again a very simple and understandable, let's say, mechanics of the game, which I very much enjoy. Feel free to carry on. Yeah, sorry for cutting you off.
Yeah, but I just want to make sure, is your question clear? Like, because I might have missed it.
No. It's exactly what I wanted to know. You touched upon it perfectly.
So there is this mechanism between the player and the investor. These are the game theory parts that we insisted on. They seem small, but the devil is in the details. So those things make sure that balance is there. So in this one, we have the player increases the level, and then increases the capacity. So how many investors can get in, and then the investors increase the pool, the energy capacity. So now you have more energy, and the recovery. So now you need less time to recover. So these mechanisms just keep the game going. So now each tank is created. It has a pool, and that pool is basically creating new DFTL for the investors, and the player gets the DFTL and the profits from inside the game, and by playing. So basically, if the player doesn't own the tank, he can just borrow it and earn the daily rewards and the earnings, while the NFT original owner is happy with it, because now you're increasing the level up, which starts that domino effect. Level up, energy, level up, and it keeps going like that. And while doing that, the opportunity, the APY will just stay at a certain level because of this balance, because wealth is pretty much created right before the supply comes in, and it just keeps being like that. So every new minted token, 50% of that goes to basically covering keeping it overbacked and overpegged at all times. So the dollar value, basically, because we're still in the first years, we're going to always be connected to the old system in terms of denomination. So there is this the system that keeps value there. So every money in circulation, every basically DFTL in circulation is backed by real money in that way. But there is the game in between. So you can think about it like the petrodollar, but there is something in between. It's not just the petrol against the dollar, but there is something in between that creates that wealth, and it's completely decentralized. So basically 50% goes to that, 30% goes to the reward pool, as I talked earlier. So the players get more of that. As I said, you can play either as the tank owner and keep all that, or you can just lend it, and if you don't have time or something, because a lot of people are not going to have that time. And since it's an investment with an APY, so there is an incentive there for investors and players who think at it from both sides, as the playing and the investing, because at the end you're there to earn. As I said, you can even play without money and earn strictly, or you can increase your profitability, since the APY is huge enough, but the accessibility is very limited, and you have an advantage since you're the one who's owning that tank and creating it, etc.
So yeah, sorry for kind of cutting you off once again, since we are, it just makes sense if we are talking about a specific topic for me to just ask. So since you did touch upon the fact just now that a player can also, well, let's say play without the need to earn, let's say. So in this case, I was wondering how a person can get started. So we did brush upon the fact that obviously you're going to be earning if you have your NFT, which is in this case a tank. But I presume that players who, let's say, do not want to buy or let's say, be borrowing a tank from the owner of it can also play it without the NFTs, but they just won't be able to earn. Is that correct?
Exactly. No, they will be able to earn. They will earn a lot basically, because there's the earning part of the daily part, and then as the owner of the tank, if you're not playing with it, you're gonna be very happy if it increases in the level. So now it's more profitable. Because the more the tank is high in the level and high in the capacity, energy, and the recovery, that means that you can do more with it, which translates to more money compared to others. So that keeps that incentive, for everyone to lend their tanks. So as a player, if you don't have any tank, and you don't have any money to invest in that tank, you can just come and borrow it for free and just play, and you're gonna keep the daily reward. It's yours.
Also,
And
borrowing is actually for free. All right, I get it
exactly,
now.
yeah.
Yeah,
I'm sorry,
because I figure I just and it's no problem at all. I did have
yeah.
some questions regarding the lending and borrowing, you can say, because I just figured that it's still for a certain fee, but that it is essentially cheaper than you just buying one, right? So yeah, that's
Oh no,
perfect.
it's
If
not
lending
cheaper.
is
It's for free.
actually free,
Yeah,
yeah,
we're
I
adding this
get it
part
now.
of
Yes,
it.
this
We're not socialist. We're really capitalist, but you're gonna work. Like, this is not giving it for free. You're taking it. You're making a money for you and increasing the tank for somebody else. So you're just doing a win-win situation. Everybody wins.
yeah,
So
exactly. That's perfect. I
yeah,
very much
that's
like the concept behind this. That's perfect.
exactly, yeah. So yeah, exactly, that's the idea. Like, you don't need to, because everybody has something to add to the table, and the whole idea in the old games like FIFA and PS and Mario Kart, like, you play a lot, but at the end you're never rewarded for the playing. They're like treating the playing as not a wealth. While if you read Adam Smith, Wealth of Nations or something, you understand that labor is wealth. Labor is basically the core of wealth. If you work, if you do something, if something is fun to watch, and with time, our plan is to get this to become bigger than Dota and stuff. So the idea is it's going to become a whole ecosystem by itself, and we wanted to, those who like just the NBA, like Kyrie Irving is paid very well, so you got to get paid very well if you're Kyrie Irving. That's the idea.
Perfect. That is perfect. That's an
And you don't
amazing.
need to pay anything, because Kyrie Irving doesn't pay anything to start playing.
Awesome.
So pretty much this is the whole concept. Maybe I missed something here and there, but I tried to keep it as simple as possible. It's really simple. It's a simple concept in its core, and from the usability, it's going to be very simple. Like, especially for the Web3 people, it's so simple. You just go connect and start playing. That's all. If you don't have any fees, nothing. That's why I said earlier, you don't need to have any fees to start playing. That I meant the free part. So you don't need any
Yeah,
money,
yeah, yeah.
including the fees. So you can start playing,
Perfect.
and then once you earn or something, you can just at the end, claim it and get it out. But that's it. Like, the skill is being rewarded just as much as the investing, but in a proportionate way that makes everyone win. Because if you increase it, just like, for example, if I don't want to bash competition, but if I take Axie, for example, Axie Infinity as an example, their problem is the economic part. There is a lot more. It's like the dollar. There is a lot more of it than what wealth is being created, and with time that's gonna just stop. And you can't be optimistic and think of, no, it's gonna work at some point. No, it can't, because economics is really like a big, fast going train that's gonna crush you if you don't play with its rules. So our view is very economic, oriented, and the market is a zero sum theory, but this is not a zero sum game, because there is wealth being created, and there is you know an ecosystem that keeps growing, and that wealth is basically the engine that's pushing it up. So now you want to use that energy, that propulsion that you're getting from this wealth generation mechanism. Like Axie, for example, they all started with a wealth generating mechanism, which is good. But their problem was the way it's organized, the percentages and stuff. Because if you go off just a little bit in this demand and supply profile, you're just gonna end up going off road. It's like, kind of in economics, it's like there is one way, and that way is to find that strict balance where everyone wins. Because once you move it to a certain direction, someone starts winning more than the other, more than it's supposed to, or something. You ruin the balance. And this is basically the tragedy of humanity so far, because all governments, all centralized systems are basically facing these kinds of problems, because with the human egocentrism and everything, it's really difficult to find those balanced systems. But in blockchain, we can do that. We can set them from the start, and now they're there. So now,
Absolutely, because it's
and we
just.
have set up. Yeah, sorry. Keep going.
No problem, no problem at all. I just wanted to say that it's nice that you're making it as fair as possible for everyone, right? So again, you are rewarding users, and they just essentially, they can grind it out, they can lend the tanks, they can borrow them. It's as fair as possible, which I very much enjoy. And since we did touch upon the fact that it is, extremely simple to use, again, very great idea for mass adoption, right? Because it's something that people at the end of the day are familiar, and they will have no problem just diving into the game and starting the process of the grind, right? So that's perfect in my opinion.
Exactly. Couldn't say it any better. Beautiful.
Perfect. All right.
Exactly.
So since we did touch upon the mechanics of the game and everything, I suggest it's best if we go to some of my questions as well before we open up the floor to community's questions, just so we touch upon some of the specifics as well, if that's okay with you, Nabil.
That's perfect. Please.
Awesome. All right. So the first one, this is the question that I was, let's say, the most eager to have an answer to, because again, let me just quickly touch upon the fact that I myself do like to game. I liked to game. Now I don't really have that much time anymore, right? So I used to be a great fan of just battle royale games like Apex. I used to grind Apex a lot. It was so enjoyable for me, just the competitive spirit and whatnot. So this is something that I wanted to touch upon, because I know that you guys are offering, not just one game mode, but a few of them, and one of those will be Battle Royale, which again, since once I was kind of reading through the white paper, I just saw Battle Royale. I was like, yes, let's go. I'm going to be grinding this for sure. So I do believe that it's a great addition to, to the game itself. And I was kind of wondering here if you do have let's say the total amount of max participants that there will be available to partake in this Battle Royale.
Yeah, exactly. So the battle royale, which is one of those modes, the idea is that we wanted to keep it, as fun as it can possibly is, because it's profitable, it doesn't need to be boring. So yeah, we went to the other side, and I understand your taste, and it's really the best taste you can have in this kind of game environment. So for those
for sure.
right now. Yeah, we're gonna start with the death match. We're not gonna have the battle royale. I don't want to ruin your excitement, but we're not gonna have it right away. We're gonna have it in version 1, not version 0. But which should be like in the next few weeks to months. Weeks to few months. That's the we're gonna say exactly when, right after the sale, because if we have more money to to develop, that means things are gonna happen much faster. But as I said, the model of the game doesn't need version 1. The model of the game is already here, except this battle royale part. But I'm sorry for that.
It's no problem.
We have deathmatch, which is 4 teams, 3 members per team, and fighting, and we have capture the flag, which is 3v3. The deathmatch is interesting. The training also gets you have a reward in the 3 modes that we have now: the training, the deathmatch, the capture the flag. They make you money basically from, and the battle royale would be the same concept, but battle royale, like this, the exact rules. Maybe we can work with you later, because you know exactly this, what should be there.
For sure.
Perfect rules, But other than that, like the existing ones is the death match with 4 teams and the other one. But I can assure you, for the fun part in the battle royale, it's gonna be at the level of your expectation. And
let's go.
When I say your
expectation,
it's gonna be the expectation of good gamers, since I can really feel that taste.
Absolutely amazing. Looking forward to it. And again, it's no problem at all that it's going to come, let's say, at a later date, because I did not expect that all of the matches, well, game modes, let's say, are going to be available as soon as you launch the game. I would say it's pointless, because if you were to just rush everything, of course, it's not going to be at the level that you're probably happy with, right? So it's nice to just take your time.
That's the idea. We invested from, our time, our money, everything. And this is why we're doing this public selling, just to make sure that version 1, version 2, for, like for gaming buffs like you, like, so that they can feel home completely. The game is already, very fun, very, very amazing, but we like the upgrades. We like the things that we're going to add. So the public sale is probably for that, and also the game itself, because once the public sale ends, we have the profitable thing, because one day after that, we're going to have the profitable thing live, so we can start profiting together. Because I said earlier, we're also, participants. We see ourselves as participants in this, and as it grows, because we do a lot of forecasting models, and that's the part I want to really insist on. Like, we're really sure about the math of this one, because there was a lot of forecasting before that. Like, we tried to, put all kinds of scenarios possible where and how it's gonna go, and we see it as, just we started, and then in 2-3 months, even if not from the pre-sale or from the public sale or whatever, it's gonna be from the game itself, because it's a profitable bit. That's why we really insisted on creating it, not just putting it as a concept, because concepts sometimes are really difficult to get through. I mean, I'm just looking at myself right now,
For sure, I most definitely understand. Yeah, it's
directly will be the fastest way to understand exactly what I mean. Playing it and basically participating in it, but because as again, don't need, for those who don't have money, but they want to make big money from a gaming based ecosystem. That's it. This is the one. And we really believe from blockchain philosophy, like everything we're doing, everything we're building, like we can throw the wallets we created smart contracts with, and that's it. We can just participate, because everything is decentralized. There is no need for a third party. There is the third party here now in the beginning, and in the first phase, as I said, we're gonna be using the 50% to overback and overpeg the token, and just keep things. The goal basically is to just keep it as high in price as possible at all times, so that the excitement keeps going and all that, and so that we can basically target our best scenario that we had in our forecasting models, which again we don't need. We can, the worst scenario would still make a lot of money, but we really want that big scenario, because there's one life, and we intend to try to make it as better as possible. And I've been playing video games as well since 6 years old. But that's the thing. I'm not gonna talk to you much about that, because I'm like the Half-Life generation. Or like
yeah, I understand. When Half-Life 3, when Half-Life 8 tank, yeah.
Exactly, man. Yeah, but we understand what this can do into the world. Like, now you see metaverse with Facebook and all that. They're just starting to talk like us, and we've been saying this forever. And now, for me as an economic guy and all that, I saw that this is a once in a lifetime opportunity for humanity to do something big, which is, make this fun world that we've been creating since the 80s, and just turn it into their jobs. People are going to be working this. They're not going to need to work something else. Anybody who would tell you, no, people should work something else, just doesn't understand economics. Because again, I'm going to go back to Adam Smith, Wealth of Nations, written in the 1700s. And he talks about that. He says that eventually machines and all that are going to replace everything. And you're not going to be working. You're going to be, enjoying the fruits of of humanity. So if we get to a big level where all you would need to do is play something fun, and then you're going to have more than enough money to live a beautiful life. That's the kind of world we're trying to create. And it's not going to happen like that. It's going to happen because we come and create them. We just not keep them as theories. And that goes back to why we decided to have the game first, then put the public sale and all that.
That's perfect. That's perfect.
Have it
that is
so that it doesn't matter what happens. This is already out, and once it's out, ideas are bulletproof. You can't kill them once they're out.
Exactly. Again, it's awesome that it's not just excuse me, that it's not just empty promises and just kind of saying, all right, we're going to believe your word. No. It's it's ready. The beta is ready. So that is awesome.
Pretty filled with those. So even if you're right, I've always used this example. Like, if somebody is dying of cancer and you really have like the cure of cancer in your hands, but if you come there and just just theorize it. Probably he's not gonna take it. He's the one who's gonna die. This is bad, but we have a responsibility. If we can bring more good to someone, we gotta be responsible in the way we say it, the way we present it, and we need to be convincing. You have every right to suspect.
For sure.
And we'll be here to just make sure you don't.
Awesome. I love the transparency. I love the energy. I love the passion. It's absolutely amazing because it's, the matching energy here is awesome because, kind of gamer topics are my go-to thing. So it's, it's a fun time for sure. Awesome. All right. So what I was wondering, since we are already talking about, the gaming related things, and if we just cycle back a little bit, I would assume that you are, let's say, in the gamer world are competitive as well. So you're going to see where I'm going with this. So ranking system, right? Because again, I used to play a lot of multiplayer games, for example, Apex itself, right? You also have ranked and plenty other of multiplayer games that are available. And I did some, once I kind of, launched the beta version, that you have a sort of a leaderboard. So I was wondering if this is kind of a ranking system that you guys are going with. And if yes, how do you manage to get first place? How do you get points? By simply, grinding out the game modes, or do you have to do anything more specific in order to secure the first place? Why I'm asking is, I'm going to be honest here, for me, myself, because I want to be number one, all right?
I think you have everything to do that. Yeah. I think so far, you're one of the most qualified to do that because
Let's go.
Like grinding would be a better way to describe it. But yeah, it's unique. It's the specifics of the game. But yeah, it's basically killing and shooting and not getting shots. So I like to keep it simple. But yeah, everyone can do that. That's the thing. You don't need something specific. Like you can just focus on the main rules of the game, which is basically not getting killed and killing others.
Of course,
destroying other tanks and not getting destroyed, and in different scenarios and different circumstances. And it's about speed, skill, concentration, the kind of skill you would need, for example, if I don't know, you're gonna be hired to drive an F-6 or something, in the American Army or something. They need those kind of people, like those are the guys who are gonna be number one, the ones who can shoot it, who can
for sure, yeah,
and who don't lose concentration when things get when things get tough.
Yeah,
so anyways,
perfect.
It's gonna be fun. I don't want to. I really want to start talking about it, but I don't want to. Find myself like going too many tangents. So yeah, a lot of little details to explain here and there. I think trying it directly would be the best way and it's
for sure.
It's simple.
I 100% agree. Yeah, it's always nice, again, if we're talking about games in general, and of course let's just take your game to not just talk about in general, but in the specific case of it, it's I would say that as well. It's for example, let's say if a friend recommends you to try out a game, right, and he says, yeah, but what's this game about? I have no problem explaining it, but it's just gonna take, I don't know, 1 hour to get the basics when he could have just played for 5 minutes and got, everything in one place anyway. So exactly. I couldn't have said it better myself,
I've been trying too hard since earlier to not do that. So yeah, so this one is, my Achilles heel. This one.
Understandable.
I'm explain it to you how fun I find this because.
Completely understandable, yeah, for sure.
Thanks, man.
No problem. All right, so if we do kind of move on to the, let's say, I'm going to be saying this as a referral system, right? So I was kind of wondering if you are planning to have a sort of a referral system in place, and to quickly clarify that, if, let's say, to just be more specific, right? For, let's say, players who reach a certain milestone of, let's call it, invitations. So in this case, to invite other players so they start playing as well. So would they receive some kind of, a perk in the game if they invite, let's say, 5 or 10 people and they actually start playing the game, right? So anything like that.
That's a beautiful question. Okay, so because of these incentives, because of the fact that there is basically an EPY or a return on investment on every tank, they're going to be buying of these tanks from existing players and from new players, and you get 20% of, the referral always gets 20% of each sale, of each buy, of each minting or buying, whatever you want to call it, like creating new tanks by converting the FTL to attack. So yeah, like it's gonna be recurring payments, recurring, 20% that just keep coming, and you can have as many as you can. So the perk would be that you would be making a lot very quickly if you have a big team, and so you get 20%. So it's one level, the level one, but you get 20% from every buy they do, and they're gonna do recurring buy based on the game theory situation. They're gonna be doing recurring buy. It's gonna be a numbers game, and it's gonna be really good.
That's
For
awesome. That's actually
the
a
influencers,
high amount. That's awesome.
following.
Just
Yeah,
another motivation to get the players engaged and
exactly.
to
It's gonna
just
be
grind it out.
it's
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 perfect.
the easiest sell you can have as a gaming, I don't know, blogger or something. This is the
Mhm.
easiest sell you can sell, but at the same time, it's very interactive and easy and simple and straight to the point, and very profitable from the 20% side. It's gonna make you really happy. So yeah, that's the overall concept.
Perfect. All right. So just again, I have tons of questions still prepared. And for the sake of getting into the community's questions, because we can talk about it for 3 hours on my side as well, but I'm just going to do one last question from my side before we open up the floor to the community's questions, because they are a lot of them. So we just, cover a
Yeah, I
few
can
anyway,
wait for them as well. All right,
because
awesome.
it's a topic of my choice and I would love to talk for an hour or two more, but we are at a time limit, unfortunately. So yeah, just again, the last question is going to be kind of a cycle back to
Mhm.
how to get started. So of course, not with landing or minting the NFTs, which again, you probably all know by now, this is the tank in this game. So just to
Yeah.
kind of cycle back, I was
Mhm.
wondering before you even land or mint the NFT, since I did kind of saw that you need to input, of course, a name and I believe a password and email. So I was wondering, just so all of the community is aware before they try out the beta or potentially start playing at a later date, if they need to input any other information or anything at all in order to get started, just so they're all prepared
Mhm.
before they start with the grind.
Awesome, man. I like overall. If you're familiar with Web3, this is gonna be straightforward. If you're not, the concept is the Web3 is the new internet, and we have the Web1, basically, half lifetime, and then we
Yeah,
have
for
Web
sure.
two, Web 2, what we do now, but what we used to do. But then the Web3 is basically this internet where your money, your identity, the metaverse identity, basically the internet identity, and everything related to it. It's accounting, it's money. It's going to be on the Web3, on the internet. And this kind of internet is accessible through specific portals, like for example MetaMask, which is our favorite because it's a open source decentralized thing, and it represents the community. So uh, you know I would say use MetaMask, or you can use any wallet that would connect to that chain, to the Arbitrum. So the idea is that you connect to it with a 0x blah 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 wallet. That's your ID. For the email password, these things for you, like just you know uh, basically giving it an identity. So you're given that your identity in the Web3, you're given it identity by giving it a password. So to get in, you don't need an email. You just need a username and a password, so that you would, whenever you open the game, you can just come in. Even if you're connected with some other wallet, you can just come in. So for example, let's say your wallet has millions of dollars or something, and you don't want to be using it every time you enter the game. So the username password will make it simple, because you can connect from anywhere and just use the username and password. Do you see it? But the
Ah,
username
that's
password,
perfect. Yeah,
yeah.
I was thinking that you actually need the primary wallet all the time. That's
Uh,
perfect. Awesome.
no, you don't need. Yeah, this profile thing is the reason we have it, is that, so that, because we understand, I've been managing a hedge fund and all that, so I know exactly what this struggle of having you know wallets and stuff. So
Yeah, for
you don't
sure,
want
for
to you
sure.
don't want
Yeah.
to keep wallets accessible to anybody, including yourself, most of the time. So at the end, but you want to play and continue the game. So that's the whole reason why we have that username. But at the end, it's the Web3. So you use just MetaMask, you get in. That's
Awesome.
all. And now you have an identity in it. And it's something that, people, I think, should just get familiarized with this, because that's what, where the word is heading. And you will have two choices. You will have the metaverse of, Zuckerberg and his friends, or the metaverse of everybody, which is the blockchain. And, so these kind of things, you just learn them once and then you use them forever. Just connecting, remembering the 12 words. This is your internet identity. So it's money plus everything else you do. Your progress in the game and everything will be just there. on the
Perfect.
blockchain.
Perfect. Thank you for the clarification. Thank you for answering all of my, well, half of my questions, let's say. Again,
Yeah.
Nabil, it was very
It's impossible
enjoyable.
describing the game in detail. Sorry about that one. A whole
No problem.
episode
That's
for itself. Thanks.
absolutely enjoyable. So yeah, let's do some questions. And guys, if we can, let's try to keep it one question per person just so we can cover a little bit more ground today. And yeah, Jerry, welcome. Hopefully you are enjoying your weekends. And of course, the floor is all yours. Welcome to the AMA. Hopefully you're enjoying it and you may ask your question. Now, welcome, man.
Hey guys, hey Rendans, how are you guys doing?
Hey, Jerry.
Fantastic.
Nice to have you
Great,
here.
absolutely great. So, I'm a gamer, so I must tell you, I really love the fact that this is a gaming project, and it's really interest me to ask some questions. But maybe I could shorten my questions to for more faster response. So, concerning my first question, I'm just kind of concerned about the NFT for the games. So when it comes to your NFTs, I just wanted to know, do one have the access to create its own games, its own NFTs for these games, and get to sell them to other players of the game, or get to rent them out to make in more interest from the NFT itself?
Thank you. This is your first question, so I'll answer this one, and then if you have another question, you can tell me. So yes, there's gonna be a marketplace there where you can, buy and sell, and also, just buy and sell. For the renting, is free from another place in the system. The interest would be in the renting would be so that your tank grows, because if you rent it, the player would play with it, so he's gonna level it up. So now you have more energy recovery and energy capacity. So now you make more money. It translates to more money because now you earn more, because you play more, you kill more, you get killed less. So yeah, and plus the NFT itself. So once you want to sell the NFT, you're going to sell it with its current stats, and the stats is basically the interest, So if you're borrowing it, you're borrowing it for stats. But if you're buying it or selling it, yes, there is a marketplace to buy it and sell it directly. And because of those stats, you're going to sell it much more expensive based on those stats, etc. Does that answer your question? Is that clear?
Yep, absolutely. And the other part is just a quick one. When it comes to the connecting wallets, it does have to deal with connecting wallets, right?
I'm sorry, connecting wallets. Yeah, what about it?
Yeah. So when it comes to connecting wallets and claiming rewards, I just wanted to know, maybe one is in a kind of a situation whereby his internet connection is having some kind of lagging, and the person just get into to get some rewards. Does these rewards stay to whenever he wants to claim, or does these rewards
Definitely.
have
Yeah, you don't
some
need.
limited
Yeah,
time for claiming?
exactly. You don't need to do anything. If you win it, it's there. You don't need to claim it. You can claim it next year or whatever. It's yours. Once won, it's won. If you win it and then the internet is cut off, it's yours. You won it. You won it. So you can come back whenever you want and claim it.
Okay, great stuff, man. Yeah, this just the brief questions I just wanted to ask, because others would
They were
be
very good
interested
questions.
to
Yeah.
ask you. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, man. They're really good questions. Yeah, I should have mentioned this earlier, but thank you, man. Thank you.
All right, Jerry, thank you very much. And of course, we are moving on to Sissy Jeter. Sissy, welcome to the AMA. Hopefully, you're enjoying your weekend as well. And hit us with the question. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Raylan. I really appreciate the time you've spent here on the AMA. It's kind of like interesting, right, and informative. It kind of gives you what you want to know about the project. So one question I wanted to ask was, based on the gamify aspect of things. So first, it's kind of like a quick question, but I'm just going to ask a follow-up question. But first, I just want to know, what are the target platforms for the game? Do you have desktop? Do you have a mobile phone? And if you have that, what are the requirements, software requirements to play the game in these this these places?
Thanks so much, CC. That's a very good question as well. Okay, so the platforms would be the usual. So basically, laptops and mobile. These are the two ones. Mobile, you can get in from, for example, a wallet like MetaMask, which is in itself a portal to the Web3. So you go to MetaMask and then you use it as the navigator, and you go to DeFiTankLand.com. So the game would be in DeFiTankLand.com. You just go there, connect. So if you're on a mobile, you're gonna connect through the MetaMask app, or from any way you prefer to connect, because basically it's just connecting an address, a private key to the game. for blockchain people, they know that there are multiple ways to do that, but MetaMask seems like a popular one, and as I said before, I love it because it's decentralized and open source. So going back to so your question, so you said the platform, so laptop, mobile. For the capacities, nothing really, because it's the blockchain. So everything is not there really. Most of it is not there really. So don't think about it like PlayStation 5 or Xbox, because especially I'm talking about version 1 or version 2, because maybe version 0 seems like Mario Kart and stuff, so it sounds more like very simple in graphics. But even if we make complicated graphics in the version 1 or version 2, it'll still be most of it on the blockchain, because that's why we're really invested on the side of this. We're really invested in the decentralization of blockchain itself, because our plan is to keep it there. So yeah, so for the graphics, a normal, I mean, a computer that's good enough to make you use the internet freely and watch things without them being bugged and stopped, which is most of the internet of today's world. Yeah, the
Okay,
anyways,
it's a pretty good answer to the question, actually.
I'm
And
sorry.
it's really. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Sorry, can you repeat that?
Awesome. Okay, so it's kind of like a pretty answer to the question, because I just wanted to know, based on, I wanted to get that so I could be able to direct my questions to based on utility services and how you plan to use the utilities of desktop computers to maybe merge with third-party applications and partnerships, right? So in terms of trying to get third-party applications or third-party services, perhaps a Google Firebase or Node.js for launching the application, or for like storing it on a database, right? So how do you plan to make sure that whenever the policy changes, actually sometimes policy could change based on new owners and stuff. So what if the privacy policy changes, right? How does that affect the way rewards have been sent, the way you market the product, the way we earn NFTs and all of that? Because you're using your service, right? And then the policy changes tomorrow. They have a new owner. How do you plan to kind of like link that gap between between the third party service and your project?
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, this is what I was trying to clarify. Maybe I didn't say it very clear. So yeah, so like the game itself, yeah, we're planning to host it basically, decentralized. Even if it's centralized just momentarily in some certain levels, because for example, we have the desktop app as well, because we talked about the desktop app. So yeah, we're gonna have that, and yes, it's gonna use some of your, computer, computation as well. But at the end, the roadmap is basically have it completely blockchain based, because the same stuff we can do before, we can just host them all on top of blockchain based stuff. So basically decentralized solutions, and we already have most of that in place. And as I said, the only parts that we still would call centralized are really have no effect whatsoever on the core of the game. So for the policy, this is going to be run as a kind of DAO. So we have at first it's going to be a kind of DAO, and then it's going to become a DAO directly. So basically, yeah, the tokens you have are the shares, are the parts of the voting. So policy, because you said maybe policies are going to change and stuff, they can't change if you don't make them change, you as the community. So it's going to be all completely ruled by the community and completely hosted on decentralized infrastructures. So no, I don't think any of those concerns would be important anytime soon, once we have the 3 versions live. That's it.
Okay, Yeah, it's a pretty good answer. I was actually thinking because let's say your project is using a Google Firebase service for the backend, and then tomorrow Google Firebase makes an announcement, or Google makes an announcement saying they don't accept database services for mobile phones anymore, right? And then you've already integrated the game on mobile. Now I'm currently playing my game, and then I receive maybe a network break because of their policy of change. They no longer allow database service for mobile phones. Now that's what I'm talking
Yeah,
about. That affecting the application of your
exactly.
project.
This
Great.
is what we
So
call the horrors of centralization, and that's what that's everything we're against. So yeah, as I said, no, we're not going to be relying on Google at all, or any of Zuckerberg's friends to host our stuff. There are plenty of decentralized solutions so far, like because there've been a lot of innovation in the blockchain space in the last 2 years.
yeah,
Yes, it
yeah, right.
wasn't really like that marketed and all that by CNBC and all that, because they hate us and this is their opportunity to crush us, but they can't. It's just a matter of time before blockchain space starts pumping again, and all these ideas are gonna start showing up clearly. And I really think that for example, I don't know, Chat GPT, for example, is an idea that's been around for a long time before now it's became popular, and this is just because of this slowness in the whole development of the technology space, which for me is the blockchain space. And you can't talk about technology and then tell me I'm gonna put something in someone's server. Like the whole point of living in today's world is that you don't need to trust anybody. I don't want to trust anybody, and we shouldn't trust anybody. So no, these problems are kind of like the things that keep us awake at night. So that's, I promise you, never. And it's not an app. When I said an app on the phone or mobile, you imagined it as the App Store, Play Store. No, in the App Store you download just the portal, but then you go through the portal like MetaMask, and then you go to the game. So no, the game is not something that relies on Apple or Google or whatever. No, it's just on the Web3. It's decentralized, and then you can access it through certain portals like MetaMask. So that's the whole idea.
Yeah, that's pretty good. You see, ChatGPT, like after a week after they released the AI, over 1 million users, and then they kind of like had this network bridge because they have a lot of
Yeah.
people, and then kind of
Exactly. It shows the same concept. Exactly. That's this thing was like there is a cypherpunk community. It still exists. It's they don't like to talk much, but they do things. And my partner, for example, he doesn't like to tell people where he is and where he's from and all that. And he's very cypherpunk in all his philosophy. And we've been seeing it this way, like from the cypherpunk portal, not from the normal portal. That's why we're focused more on like just Bitcoin stuff. For example, Bitcoin created the guys of Bitcoin created Bitcoin, and then like 3 years, 4 years later, then people started noticing how revolutionary this is, because that's the idea of cypherpunks. Generally they want to create good things, and then you wanna follow me, good. You don't, I don't give a shit, stuff like that. But like generally, like the idea is that this is what's exactly what we're fighting every day and night. So yeah, all these concerns are some things we already made sure we're never gonna have to face them, because this is here to stay. We don't want to pump and dump and then next week we think about something else, and we want something that we can play later. I can play with my kids if I have any. So yeah.
Stay for a long term. Yeah, it's a pretty good answer to the question, actually. And then seeing your hard work and all of that you've put into the project, it's a pretty good one. Yeah, thank you for answering the questions very, very well. Thank you, Raylands.
Thanks for being here, really. Thank you, and thank you for the questions. Amazing questions. Thanks.
No problem, CC. Thank you. Just like Nabil said, thank you for the questions. They have been amazing. And of course, we are moving on to let's do Karank Khan. Welcome to the AMA. Hopefully your weekend is going awesome as well. And yeah, hit us with a good question, because today there are only good questions. Keep it going. Let's do this.
Thank you for this opportunity. So I want to know what is the condition to have play in the DeFiTankLand, and will the amount of the token index in the game will be dependent on the rarity of the NFT one is holding, or it's going to be based on the total time played. So If I want to increase my earning, what will I need to do?
I had some trouble understanding, Nabil.
Yeah,
Did you catch that?
I didn't catch all that. I'm sorry. Can you repeat it? I'm sorry.
I understand something about the
Yes.
rarity of the NFTs, if that is correct, of course.
Yes. Yes, the will be amount of the token in the game will be dependent on the rarity of the NFT.
Ah, okay, I get it, I
Rarity.
get it. Did you got it, Nabil? It's if I believe the amount of tokens that you are able to well essentially get in the game, if it will depend on the rarity of the NFT. That's the question, I believe.
That's a very good question. And yes, this is what I said earlier. Like the supply, like basically every token in circulation is, like so. There is a limit. There is a very strict limit, and that limit depends on So every minted token, every minted tank can mint only a certain number. But then when they invest more, they can increase. But that increase, as we said earlier, depends on the leveling up of the play-in. So there should be play-in so that this can happen. And that keeps the value. Basically, every DFTL is backed by real value because and as we said, 50% of the tanks goes to basically as liquidity against it, against the DFTL, and the other 30% goes as a reward for the next one, and the 20% goes as a referral. So this value is distributed this way. So value goes to all the participants of the system, and it translates into DFTL. And this is expected to keep the price of DFTL, based on game theory, it's going to be high at all times. It's going to be maximally high, depending on the context. The more we grow, the more dollars are invested behind the projects, the bigger it's gonna get, and those dollars, as we said, can be either from investors who want the APY, etc. So there is an incentive for the money to always keep going back in the existing supply. So yeah, there isn't a max supply there. It's gonna just keep printing, but it's gonna be printing based on a specific economic model that's gonna always keep the demand outweighing the supply. That's pretty much it. I think that was his question.
So can I add one more thing?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's so easy. Are you planning to hold a book bounty program competition?
Let's go.
Cool.
It's cutting a bit. I really.
Yeah, exactly. Could you please repeat it? Otherwise, you can send me a DM. However you prefer, it's no problem at all.
Yeah, it's just.
Yeah, already, man.
But yeah, okay. I really want to answer, but yeah, I didn't get even the gist of the question.
Yeah, me too. Unfortunately, the connection is a little bit off. So
it's an international thing. Yeah, it happens.
Yeah, thank you. So sorry about the language barrier.
Okay, I think.
No problem. We shall get back to the question once I receive the DM, so no problem at all here. And in the meantime, of course, we're gonna just keep on going. And yeah, appreciate you stopping by and for the questions as well, Kanang. And let's do Sujay. Sujay, welcome to the AMA. And of course, I'm gonna tell you, hopefully your weekend is going amazing as well. Welcome to the AMA. The floor is all yours. Hit us with a good question. Welcome.
Hey, thanks, Raylan. Hello, Nabil.
Hello, Sujay.
Hey. So I had a specific question with regards to the villages and the castles, right, in the game. It's mentioned that you want to activate, that the villages and the castles are actually NFTs, and then when you activate them, you could lose them in a battle. So how exactly does that happen? Does the NFT get burned if you lose a battle, or does it get transferred to the opponent? And how does that transaction happen of that NFT leaving my wallet if that's what is happening?
Thank you so much. This is a really good question. And yeah, I missed a lot of things when I was presenting. So yeah, this one is about version 1 and version 2. So we have version 2. So we have version 0, the one already live. It doesn't have the castle and these other NFTs. So basically these are other NFTs that have value, and that value can increase within the game. So that means that, they would work economically like the tank. But so that we don't so that we keep focus on the tank in this early phase because this is the center of the game. We talked only about the tank. But in version 1 and version 2, you can have all these other things. And yes, you can lose them or win them. So that means, if you're, the good hunter, then you're gonna get more of those, and etc. If you keep losing them. So losing them, the mechanism would be simple. Would be just, it goes to the other wallet, and then he can claim it, and then it becomes his, blockchain stuff, So just like you move any NFT, it's gonna become, like ownership of the other person, so he can claim it at wherever he wants. When you lose it, and when you win, it's the same. You win his, it becomes yours. So that keeps the stake high. But at the end, you don't need to lose them if you don't, put them in danger, put them in jeopardy. So yeah, so it's gonna be, strategic, and everyone is gonna decide based on the best situation. Yeah, and some aggressive players are gonna be losing more than more smart players, and it's gonna keep going like that. So yeah, just claiming, because we talked about the mechanism exactly. It's just gonna move. The ownership is gonna move somebody to the winner, and then that castle or that piece of land is gonna become his. So yeah.
Okay, so I kind of found that interesting because I would still have to sign that transaction, right, before it moves from my wallet.
It's gonna be straightforward. Like for example, you're gonna find a place where the things that you won, and you're just gonna click one button, and then because it's a transaction.
Okay,
To
so
get it back to your wallet, to move it, then it's a transaction, and it requires the claim. But again, Arbitrum has extremely low fees. Like everything is less than $1 or something, or 0.0 something. So it's very small fees. So yeah, like once you get something that's an NFT that's worth $1,000, and you're gonna just claim it for a fraction, I don't think you're gonna mind. For a fraction of a penny, you're not gonna mind.
Got it.
Not a fraction of a thousand, fraction of a penny.
Anyway. Got it. Yeah. No, it shouldn't be a big deal. I was just interested in, how it moves from my wallet to another person's wallet without me signing, or does it require signing. So just a quick continuation to that. I know this is in V1 and V2, so you probably, I don't know if you have the details, but if one of those villages or castles has accumulated, the in-game currency or the gold, based on my previous gameplay, and then I go into a battle and lose it, do I lose the earned or accumulated in-game currency too?
No, the in-game is yours, and the in-game will have the in-game currency. The gold is yours, and once you win it, you can exchange it in in-game AMM, automated market maker. So just one click, you're gonna swap it to DFTL if you need, and it's yours. So no, that's not the things you lose. You lose, the NFTs. They can be at stake. So yeah.
Okay, got it. Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much for those.
Thank you, man. Amazing question. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Raymond.
No problem, Sujay. Thank you for the questions. And of course, let's do the last question of the AMA. And just wanted to say I am very proud of you all today because awesome questions. It's an awesome AMA in general. So yeah, Nabil, awesome presentation as well. And we, of course, move on to the last question. Let's do Crypto Legend. You shall take the last place. So I'm counting on your question to be, well, the best of them all because it's the last question. And as you all know by now, the last question on my AMAs are on the hot spot. So Crypto Legend, hit us with a good question. Welcome.
Thanks so much for the opportunity. I must say, you have given us a very good presentation. My question is going to be short. I just want to know how you have created your NFT to have a very good impact on the token price.
The NFT. What about the NFT? Sorry, buddy. I didn't get it.
How have you created to have a very good impact on the token price? Is the NFT just a separate NFT where the minting are just having good?
Yeah. I think I get the gist of the question. Let me answer it, and then if I don't, tell me what I did wrong. So I think you're asking, so the NFT, where does it get its intrinsic value or something like that, which is basically the profitability. So let's go back to the old world. Like if you have a business that creates, 20% or 30% or whatever per whatever time, we know that the traditional business don't make that much. But in crypto it's going to be much higher. But let's say you have a certain return on investment on something that gives it a price. That's what gives it a price, because I mean that's one of the things that gives it a price. But in this case, it would be one of the main things that gives it a price, because if something is profitable, it has a price. So as we said, every tank keeps increasing. Every NFT can increase in its stats and its capacities, which translates to more profitability, as the tool itself. So if you imagine it as I don't know, as a business, so then you will see it as a profitable business. So it would have a price. So yeah, so that price is what would keep increasing with time based on the situation. It can't go lower, it can only go higher, since the profitability and the token and its demand and supply would just keep the profitability. It's not gonna, like, the APY is not gonna drop, as happens usually in the systems that don't have that balance. So was that your question? Like,
Yeah. If I have any more questions, I'll just add on to your Telegram group. Thanks for the opportunity.
Oh, thanks, man. Thank you.
All right, Crypto Legend, thank you for the awesome question. And yeah, just a kind reminder, guys, that the fair launch of DeFiTankLand is taking place in exactly 51 minutes. I'm going to be, specific here. So yeah, again, Nabil, just wanted to say thank you very much for the amazing AMA and for being transparent and giving us all the information possible. It was a truly amazing AMA. So yeah, very enjoyable from my end. It was a pleasure to host you, and just wanted to say best of luck for the fair launch. And of course, I hope you have a great rest of the weekend as well.
Thank you so much. This was amazing, and you're the best at this, and also apparently in gaming as well. So I can't wait for you to, jump on board. And
that is so kind of you. That is so kind. Thank you very much. I appreciate that immensely. Thank you so much.
Thanks, man. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Enjoy, Nabil, and of course to the rest of the awesome community over at Jampad. Thank you very much for stopping by, and you as well have a great rest of the weekend, and we shall be talking shortly. So yeah, thank you very much, and cheers, guys.
Cheers.